this is Jennifer Schaefer, People's Realtor of Colorado, coming back to you today with Robert Greene's 10th law of power, infection, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. And I think this law applies particularly well if you are a seller and you're looking at a number of offers from potential buyers, because the reality is that you may actually see one particular offer as the best on paper, but when working with that buyer and after investing a significant amount of time and resources in completing the deal, they actually reveal to you that they were never approved for the amount of money that they promised you in the first place, or they can't deliver in a timely manner that will meet the deadlines of the contract, otherwise known as flakes. And you may be a very optimistic person thinking to yourself, how common could this be? The unfortunate reality is that flakes are everywhere. They ruin transactions all the time. And it is my personal frustration that looms largest of all of them in any particular type of business, when you cannot rely on the other party you're doing business with. And so, in particular, if you're one of those people who just really has never dealt with a flake before, or you just can't imagine it would happen in something as important as a real estate transaction, just try to imagine a scenario where you have spent a lot of time and money making any deferred maintenance or repairs to your home, actually going through the process of staging it, making yourself scarce and getting out of the property for buyers to come walk through during showings or open houses, track dirt and germs through the whole place. And finally, you get to a point where you have all of these competitive offers on the table and you have the lucky task of choosing the best one. And if you just focus on the best one on paper without looking at the credibility of the buyer, then you could actually, go through a few weeks of work smoothly where you're going through bureaucratic tasks like requesting documents from your homeowners association or your mortgage lender and going through the motions of closing expired permits, all of the work and time that you have to do to close a sale, only to find out a few weeks through the process that the buyer actually never qualified for the loan that they told you they were going to pay you to sell your home. Or they actually are running way behind schedule and never gave you any kind of notice that they weren't going to be able to meet the deadlines in the contract. And this is a really, really bad situation for a seller to be in. Number one, because you've already turned away a lot of other buyers who offered competitive amounts, and in this market, they probably offered over your asking price. And they may well have gone and purchased other properties, so that window of opportunity is shut. But on top of that, it can actually leave a black mark on your home's selling history, because for some reason, buyers don't appear to be following through with the sale, even in a market where homes are closing really quickly, and it can actually scare future buyers away because they can get the impression that you have some kind of latent defect or hidden problem with your property that you're just not advertising, which isn't true necessarily. Your home may be great. It just may completely be the buyer's fault, and you may end up paying the consequences. So thankfully, the rules and laws governing Colorado real estate have made a very special carve out to protect sellers from this type of situation, which is most of the time, buyers and sellers agents are governed by fiduciary laws, meaning that they have to place first and foremost the interests of the buyer. They can't share the buyer's confidential information with the seller, and they have to respect the buyer's wishes in most cases. The exception in this case that is really important is with respect to the buyer's ability to perform financially. Even if a buyer does not want their agent to disclose that they cannot perform according to the terms that they have agreed to, the buyer's agent still has to tell the seller the truth. And so I highly recommend that you take advantage of this special carve out. It's what it's there for. Before choosing a buyer for your home based on the offer written on paper, go ahead and ask the buyer's agent, has the buyer already qualified for a mortgage loan? Have they actually depended on some kind of circumstance that's pretty much outside of their control, like the sale of their current home? Probe and make sure that everything with the buyer is above board, because it's actually really hard to quantify the advantage that you get from working with a good business partner on the buyer's side. But I can guarantee you that you will feel the pain in the event that you end up with a flaky buyer who can't follow through with their side of the deal. And it's so easy to fall for their enthusiasm and their eagerness, because usually these are the types of people who get ahead of themselves. Or with respect to food, you could say their eyes are bigger than their stomachs, or their eyes are bigger than their budgets. And this is just not a situation that you have to end up in. The laws have made special allowances to protect you from this kind of scenario. So definitely take advantage of them. And in Robert Greene's words, infection, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. And he actually goes a little bit further, and he has a really, really nice added piece of this law that I have to quote, which is, the unfortunate sometimes draw misfortune on themselves. They will also draw it on you. Associate with the happy and fortunate instead. So choose realistic, reliable, good business partners on the buyer's side to work with, and it will pay off above and beyond your expectations, and even pay off more than you realize if you never end up having a deal crashed by a flake in the first place. So, I'm Jennifer Schaefer, People's Realtor of Colorado. That's Robert Greene's 10th Law of Power, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. And if you are considering buying or selling real estate in the state of Colorado, please definitely reach out to me anytime through my social media or my website, which are linked in the description below. I look forward to hearing from you, and don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment in the comment section if there's another video you'd like to see me make on real estate. Thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye-bye.